Next one, full ROM or range of motion on squats. Highly underrated. Most people, vast majority of people maybe get to parallel. I would say majority of people are a little higher than parallel on most squat movements. We're talking not just back squats, front squats. We're talking any sort of squat movement, whether it's a pendulum, hack squat, belt squat, leg press, whatever have you, or even a single leg squat, especially. Rarely do I see anyone going to parallel on a split squat or anything like that. And the majority of people don't hit parallel, or maybe they hit parallel, but they don't get into that full depth position. And you are doing multiple different things by cutting your squat range of motion short. One, it is a little bit more stressful on the joints, especially the knees. Believe it or not, going less deep is more stressful on the knees than going to full range of motion. Main reason is because you want to get your body and your muscles that are involved in each movement. We're talking lower body here, so your quads, your glutes, your adductors, etc. You want to get them used to actually controlling for a full range of motion squat. And when you always cut it short, you're going to have very little strength in that full depth position. And that can be detrimental in multiple areas of life because you just don't have great control and stability in that position. So you're cutting that short. Additionally, you are missing out on the most important part of the movement for muscle growth. When your calves and your hamstrings are touching, aka your full depth, ass to grass, whatever you want to call it, that is the most important part of the movement for muscle growth, the stretch position of the quads. And your glutes are also in pretty much they're almost fully lengthened position. So by cutting that short, you're missing out on the most important part of the lift for muscle growth. And then 3, you are just missing out on a chance to kill 2 birds with 1 stone. So you're going to gain more muscle. You're also going to improve your mobility more. And a lot of people will do these half range of motion squats, and they'll do lots of half range of motion, lots of different exercises as well. And then they'll go spend all this time on mobility. And I've talked about this recently a lot too. Might as well get most of your mobility work from the thing that is the most effective way to build mobility. And that is full range of motion strength training. Mobility is strength in active range of motion. Flexibility is passive range of motion. So if you are just doing a bunch of stretches to improve your mobility, yes, you're going to get more flexible, but you may come short on mobility. There are active mobility drills, absolutely, that you can do to improve your actual mobility, but nothing beats doing full squats and actually controlling that entire range of motion. You're getting more mobility, you're also getting more of a stretch, and you are probably going to be less susceptible to knee issues and potentially hip issues long term. So not squatting full range of motion, the main reason I think most people do it is because they know they're going to have to take a lot of load off when they first start, especially if you've been squatting half reps or barely to parallel for a really long time. You're going to have to take a ton of weight off the bar or machine, whatever you're doing, and it's going to be a hit to your ego. However, I am way more impressed if I see someone on the hack squat, for example. At my gym, the hack squat is the most popular leg machine, but it's also the most popular leg machine that people go way too high. And coincidentally, a lot of people put a really thick band on the hack squat because they see influencers like Chris Bumstead doing it. They use a band that's even thicker than what Chris Bumstead, who, by the way, is 4-time Mr. Olympia, I believe, in the classic physique category. So he's very strong, needless to say. And people at my gym have 2 plates on each side, and they use a thick 6-inch wide purple band. And then they go not even to parallel. So the band's completely useless. Reverse banding hack squats does have a purpose. I'm not going to get into it because it's kind of a longer explanation. But if you ever put a reverse band on something, at least be able to explain why you're doing it and at least get to full range of motion. That's all I'm going to say on that one. But anyway, I am way more impressed by watching someone do a full range of motion, hack squat, pendulum squat, leg press, whatever it may be, with 2 plates on each side than I am watching somebody do a quarter range of motion or half range of motion just above parallel squat with 5-6 plates on each side. It's way more impressive and commendable. So if you are a little bit hesitant to drop weight off the bar in order to get into full range of motion for any of your lifts, this goes way beyond squats. This is pretty much any lift, actually any lift. There are definitely benefits to doing partials, but not the shortened partials that most people do. You do partials in the lengthened position because that's the most important part of the lift, like I just said. But either way, If you have to drop a little bit of weight and you feel like you might take a little ego hit or you think someone else is going to care, no one's going to care. And even if they do care, they're going to be more impressed. Anyone who knows anything about training is going to be more impressed, and it's going to be more commendable to them that you are actually taking the time and the effort to get a full range of motion and do the lift like it's supposed to be done. So full range of motion squats, very, very, very underrated. Probably the most underrated thing I've had on this list so far because almost nobody does them.